said I'm off in an hour and I know where we can go. So they went down and they sat on the pier. He said, I bet you got a boyfriend, but I don't care. I got no one to send a letter to.
Doug Rokke is our special guest. Exonation, here's a couple of websites. www.beyondtreason.com. That's www.beyondtreason.com and www.grassrootspeace.org. That's www.grassrootspeace.org. Doug, with these soldiers coming back home, they have enough problems on their plates. Many of them are going to be casualties, and if one of the soldiers, or for the soldiers that have depleted uranium casualties and are suffering because of depleted uranium, how do they keep their families together? How do they support their families? Where do they get the money to exist from and go day to day?
They don't. The families are in disintegration. I mean, Terry Reardon family, Susan Reardon in Canada, one of the most famous ones of all. That family's totally gone. Terry's dead, and the family's totally disintegrated. I've got others in Canada that I get calls, and I'm working with recently that the family's in disintegration. Same thing's happened all over the United States. I mean, we've had them disintegrate here where I've taken the soldier into my house, just to help them get going again while try to get the family back together. It's a total nightmare. And even if you do get a disability from the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, for example, a 60% disability from the United States Department of Veteran Affairs is only about $1,000 a month.
Unreal.
You can't even pay your rent and your food on that.
And something
especially
that
if you got a whole young family.
Exactly, Doug. And as you and I have talked about this many times, these are people who volunteered to fight for freedom and democracy to take care of the people at home.
But they're not fighting for freedom and democracy. I mean, none of these nations we've attacked, invaded, or occupied have any capability to overthrow our governments. They can't overthrow the Canadian Parliament. They can't overthrow the U.S. Congress or U.S. Senate. They can't suspend the freedoms that the residents of our two nations.
Then what are they fighting for, Doug? Then what are they fighting for?
Power, greed, control, resources, oil, everything else.
But they're told that they're fighting for the freedom and the democracy of the people back home, aren't they?
Absolutely, and that's what I was told for over 40 years.
Yeah.
And the realization hits you. Wait a minute. In Afghanistan, they can't even get from city to city. They have no ability to attack the United States. They have no ability to overthrow our government. It couldn't happen. Same thing in Canada. It can't happen. And yet we have to maintain the myth. We have to maintain the lies that that's what's happened, and that's what we're doing. In the meantime, the casualties continue to grow, and the medical care is denied, and the environment is thoroughly contaminated. And Doug, the arrogance continues.
Doug, you and I have to say so long for now, but we're planning something, Exonation, in the near future that's going to blow the socks off of a lot of people, and that's what I love about Doug. He's a straight shooter, and Doug, thanks for being there for everyone.
Thank you, Rob, and we need to work together and get every mother, father, son, daughter, grandparent, aunt, uncle to demand thorough compliance with medical care and environmental cleanup. If we all speak up, they've got to respond.
Exonation, www.beyondtreason.com and www.grassrootspeace.org. Doug Rokke, thank you very much for being with us, Doug. Always a great pleasure, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you, Rob.
Doug Rokke, once again, Exonation, www.beyondtreason.com, grassrootspeace.org. We'll be back on the other side of the news as we continue right here in the X Zone.
He's the one who must decide who's to live and